So I found out something interesting today. My Raspberry Pi just works with my audio interface. There's no drivers I had to install or anything. I could just plug my bass directly in to the Raspberry Pi via my audio interface and record straight to Audacity. I don't have any speakers, but maybe I can play it for you through my headphones. I don't know how well you'll hear it. That was just a test, which is why I'm bad. Alright, hopefully that you could hear that. But yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. I put a reverb on it as well, just to prove that I could. The resolution on this thing is very small right now, which I did on purpose because it's quite far away from me, so it makes everything nice and big. And also, 640 by 480 is God's chosen resolution, as you should know. However, it's kind of hard to make the system scale reasonably to that size, but I don't really mind. I'm not going to save that, but I'm going to be happy knowing that it's possible to live like this. Oops. So I've been just hanging out. Problem with Dillo is that you have to reset this every time. Low annoying. And also, oh wait, I actually have some bookmarks. Yeah, I've been using this browser, which is pretty nice. You know, to browse my way around the interwebs. On my Raspberry Pi. It's pretty much I'm living the good fucking life right now. I didn't mean to do that. I'm living the good life with my Raspberry Pi. It's nice. I'm actually thinking it must be possible. Like, I've seen that there's screws on the back of this monitor. So I'm thinking it must be possible to detach the actual monitor part from the stand part. Because the stand is what's heavy. The monitor isn't actually very heavy. But the stand is useful, right? If I want to have it here. But if I want to take the Raspberry Pi around with me, which is really what's useful for being so tiny, then it might be nice to have just a monitor I can carry around with me or something. I mean, the only other monitor I have is up there, but I'd have to. I've looked it up. It is possible to use that monitor with things, but you have to buy a special part, like it's not just a connector. It's like a whole bunch of electronics to connect to that little wire, because that monitor's just removed from an old Mac, and so yeah, it is possible, but I'm not sure if I want to use that, but maybe. Either way, and for now, I'm pretty happy with how things are going. You may notice my wallpaper from Digi Charat. And if you're in my Discord server, you may be thinking, you fucking LARPer, you just asked Jalen what show that girl is from, and then instantly put it as a wallpaper, but you haven't even seen the show. That's like the equivalent of wearing a t-shirt for a band you don't know about. And to that I say, bitch, guess what I'm doing right fucking now? I'm watching the motherfucking show, you stupid bitch. And secondly, turns out I'd already seen the first 2 episodes of this show, because do you think there is, in any universe, any version of myself that doesn't know of the existence of a 3-minute show, 3-minute per episode show from 2002, where the character designs look like that? Do you think that there's any universe where I haven't already looked that up and started watching it? I'm telling you right now, there is no universe like that. It simply doesn't exist. Okay? It simply doesn't. What happened was, I forgot. Okay? I forgot. I'm only human. I'm only human. I forget things from time to time, okay? And that's why we have the Jalens of the world, to help us mere mortals. You see me? Strange noises. Oh, I think it's just the TV. See, me, mere mortal, right? This is why we need people like Jalen, who are just ascended, Christ-like beings, to help us, which is, I think, a perfectly reasonable thing to do. So there you go. Don't come at me, you bitches. Also, I've just realised this little bar at the bottom has reset itself. I had it on a nice grey. That's how I like things. A nice grey colour. Hell yeah. Now I just need to throw this Mac away because I don't need it. But so eventually when I go home this mode, I can just take my Raspberry Pi with me and my bass and my audio interface and then record whenever I need to record. There you go. What's the problem? Why is everyone complaining about computers? I mean, can I watch YouTube on this? No. Do I really want to watch YouTube ever in my life? Probably not. I don't even know if this thing can play videos. You know, I have a video on here. I really hope it's not porn. But I remember seeing a video a while ago. Because I have, like, have you had this? Oh, it's Serial Experiments Lane. No subfolders. What? Hello? Hello? This file manager is shit. What the fuck? It's not actually shit. It's just, the resolution is way smaller than it expects to have a resolution be. Okay, let's see what this is. Select application to open MPEG-4. Oh, fuck. What do I do? It doesn't even have an application to open MPEG-4. File image viewer? I don't know what the image viewer is. What is the image viewer? I've actually fucking forgotten. What is the Linux thing that everyone uses? You know, I'm gonna have to probably install it. Oh, actually, you know, I can open this with Midori. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's possible to open video files with Midori, right? Yeah. Come on. Pretty sure it's possible. I might be wrong, but I feel like that is something that is possible. Let's find out, eh? It's taking a long time to load, so maybe it's not possible. I'm gonna say this is not possible, since we're only using oh, it's noise. Okay, well look, see, I'm using only 39% of the CPU to run a very small video. I could probably watch some anime on this. I'm gonna try it. You know what? Fuck it. I need to install some sort of video player, which I'm kind of amazed. Hold on. I need to. Is this gonna open it with Midori again? Fuck. Open with. Let's see if I can open it with the image viewer, because I don't know what the image viewer is. What is it? Oh, I don't know what this something. I've never seen that program in my entire goddamn life. I've now forgotten. It's been so long since I used Linux. I forgot what is the fucking really lightweight image like video player that everyone uses. Is it MPV? Is that what it's called? Let me sudo apt get MPV. Here, you can watch my screen. Oops, forgot the install. MPV is already the newest version. Okay, so we already have MPV. I just have to do it via the command line, I guess. Can I not set MPV to be the default program that opens? Open with custom command line. Oh, okay. I'll just MPV. Bam. Wake. Will it wake? Will it wake? Will it wake? Is waking? It's very slow. Okay, it's not waking very well. Alright. I don't know if I can call this waking. Oh! It's waking. It just took a minute. And I've actually got controls, unlike I did on my old ThinkPad. So there you have it. It's waking. It's running very slow. I wish I could have this not be in full screen. Can I have this not be in full screen, please? It seems to be even slower. Oh no, everything is fucked. I should probably put i3 on this, because this window manager is not working, like with such a small resolution. Using a floating window manager is pretty bad. I've fucked my finger up because I was trying to play oh, this is just way too slow now. Come on, mate. Get me out of here. Okay, it's not actually slow, I'm just an idiot. But there we go, we've done it, and it's only using 79% of the CPU. Sick. Okay, so I have this wallpaper, which is nice, don't get me wrong, but I'm thinking of maybe, what if I change it over to this wallpaper? This is pretty fucking aesthetic, I'm not gonna lie. They're both good. They're both damn good. This has to have workspaces, right? This probably has workspaces. I don't know. I don't need any of these. I'll just keep the wastebasket there. Actually, I don't even really need that. This is cool, but I feel like with the lights off, it's too bright. And I have my lights off a lot, whereas this one is nice and comfy with the lights off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep it like this. I'm gonna have to keep it real with you, Chief. We're gonna have it like this. So there you go. I'm a very cool person. I could, so if I can record my guitar, bass, I mean, then I can record anything. If my fucking audio interface works, I can plug anything into it. I'm amazed. I was like, there's no way this is gonna work. And it just worked without any trouble. Like, it didn't work with my ThinkPad back in the day. But it just works with a Raspberry Pi like it's nothing. And it wasn't even like slow to record. There was no issues. The only problem is I don't really know how to monitor things on Audacity. I don't know if it's possible to monitor things on Audacity. I'm sure it is, right? It's a little, but I can just keep one headphone off and that's fine. Yeah, you can monitor like this so you can actually see that there's sound going in, right? And there's no internal mic. I don't think there's an internal mic. Either way, it's definitely not an internal mic. It's set for the Audient i4 mono, and it for some reason it shows up as only on the left. Like this should change to a mono version of it, which is a little odd. I don't know why it doesn't do that. I wonder if I can view. I wonder if I can somehow make everything smaller. Edit. Preferences maybe. Recording quality, interface, ergonomic order. None of these is what I really want. Okay, well that was worth a try, I guess. But now I'm just going to record something else just to prove to you that it's possible. I'm going to turn the light on because I don't even know why I turned it off. No, I'll put this here. Yeah. There we go. There we go. I should have thought of what to play before I did this. very hard to play that. It's, yeah, little too. It's also much faster than that. It's like. I have 21 minutes of disk space. It's recording at 44.1, and I'm only using 11% of the CPU. That's sick. Okay. Now we got a fucking recording. I don't know if there's any way. There's no way for me to play it because I don't own speakers in my entire life. But there you have it. It's there. Trust me, it's coming out. Like, I can hear it. It's definitely not coming from any sort of speaker. It's coming from the bass directly. Oops, didn't mean to press Q. I meant to press A. And then do amplify. And then just turn it up a little bit. Allow clipping. Preview. Yeah, that would do. There you go. I want to hear how my pimpin', not pimpin' ain't easy. By the way, so it only sounds like a fart because I just turned it really loud. I just turned the gain up really loud. If I was to not do that, it would just sound like a normal bass. Nope. And see, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty fucking happy with how that turned out. I now want to see if I can watch YouTube. I really don't think this is going to work. I want to see if it's possible to, oops, I spelled that wrong, to watch YouTube videos on D-Lo. I don't think it is, because I don't think it will load the video. I think it will load YouTube, but I don't think it will load the video. As you can see, it's a very primitive browser, but because it's so primitive, it barely uses any CPU, which is great. I'm just clicking the first thing on recommended. Please forgive me. Wow, this reminds me of back in the good old days. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working very well. Whoops, dropped something. It says loading. I don't think it is loading. Oh, unless it's just down here or something. No, it should be here. Yeah, this, it should be this. Okay. No. No. What did I click? Oh, I've accidentally gone to Graham Norton's YouTube page. So that's what that is. So it should be, the video should be somewhere between here or up here, like this or this. Like, what are these things? Will I ever know? What is this click? What am I clicking here? There's no check mark on the YouTube's page. What if I press load background images? Nope. Fuck all of this. We don't need any CSS. We don't need any images, and we don't need a background image. And the panel size is way too big. Let's make you small. This is what the fuck I'm. Yeah. See, it just doesn't load. The video just doesn't load. Oops, I didn't mean to press that. Well, whatever. So, as I expected, YouTube doesn't work. However, image boards work completely fine. I've gone on LaneChan here on this. I've gone on all my favorite image boards. Not all of them let you post from this browser, but in that case, firstly, I'm more of a lurker anyway on image boards. I don't tend to post that much. I will post occasionally, but I'm not a big poster. I'm happy to just lurk. And images load fine on Chans as well. So in general, this is like a good setup. Like, I'm happy with this setup. Firstly, I spend way too much time on YouTube as it is. Secondly, if I really need to watch anime on YouTube, it's not ideal, But I'm probably gonna have my phone even in a worst case scenario, so I could just use my phone. Or I'm hoping to get another ThinkPad soon, um, and I can probably watch YouTube on that, right? Yeah. So honestly, everything's pretty fucking good with this setup right now. So now I've just got my dual monitors. Everything's sick. Everything's sick. What's all you, little buddy? It's all you, little buddy, and you're not even that hot. It's cool to be able to just look at the computer that is running your computer. Like people, I would consider, okay, how do I explain this? Okay, just as a typical example of no thank you being unable is the right word, unable to make a short video about anything. So I am a strong believer in the idea that people are alienated from their food. I know this might sound unrelated to what I'm saying right now, but I'll get to it. So I feel like a lot of people are alienated from their food. Like people just eat, and they eat things that come from supermarkets, and where they get it from is a supermarket, and it comes in a nice little package, and then you eat your chicken or whatever, or even, it doesn't have to be an animal, it could be like a carrot, and it's just like this carrot was always here in this supermarket. You know in the back of your mind, oh, this has to have been farmed at some point, but like you're never forced to actually consider the fact that your food came from somewhere. In fact, it's somewhat the case with all commodities under capitalism. I'm sure this is a Marx thing. I'm sure I'm parroting Marx here, but I'm gonna say it in my own way because I'm stupid. Um, like any commodity you have, you never think of it as someone had to make this. It's just sort of a commodity, right? But food, I think this is incredible. This is especially useful for, because even if you go back like a few hundred years or before the Industrial Revolution, there was still alien. Like you still wouldn't know how everything you used was made. Like you may have a better idea, but you definitely would have had like you didn't bake your own bread. You went to the baker to buy bread, and not every single person knows how to make bread in a medieval town. They probably have a general idea, but same way I have a general idea how Linux works, but that's what I'm saying. Now we're getting to my point. So, people are also alienated from their technology, and this is what Amphrims get wrong. Amphrims think that technology itself is alienating, but it is possible not to be alienated from your technology, and it doesn't mean you have to be a computer science major to do that. It just means you have to use free software. Because let's take Mac OS X as an example of non-free software, right? This is what a non-free OS is, okay? Oops, I pressed the wrong button. Minimize, you daft cunt. Oh my god, I fucking hate this shit. Is there not a keyboard shortcut for minimize? So, okay, so for example, here's my desktop, and I've basically done the maximum amount of customization you can have. I don't like cluttered desktops. I don't like having a lot of stuff on my desktop. In fact, these are just screenshots because they automatically save, but I know I eventually, once this will reach like down here and I'm forced to pay attention to it, I'll move it into my images folder. I just haven't been bothered yet. But normally I like my desktop to be completely clear. Let me minimize this as well. And just to have my cute anime girls on it and nothing else. However, for example, let's take this system. I never use this. I don't think anyone ever uses this. The only time I use it is if something is not working with my keyboard or something, and I type in here to make sure it's working, right? That's the only time I've ever used this, and that's why it's full of nonsense. I think I did it once, okay? But I can't get rid of this. You can go into this thing. You can't. Maybe you can actually. Maybe you can get rid of it. You click and hold, right? That's how you get rid of. Yeah, see, if I go into my desktop settings, I can click and hold this, and it comes up with a little X, or I can click and hold this, and it comes up with a little X on the corner. But this one, I can click and hold it as much as I want, and it won't let me get rid of the dashboard, despite the fact that I never use it, and that is alienating. Another example, Like this whole, I don't like how this looks. I've never liked how this looks. I have it, I so don't like how it looks because I have it hidden at most times. But I don't like how these icons look or anything. Nothing I can do about it. You can change how the icon looks, but you can't change this dock thing. I don't like Finder. Like Finder is ugly and bad. It doesn't work very well. It's not how I like my file browsers. I like them with the like a oh fuck, I forgot what it's called. The one I used to use on Linux. I believe it's called Terminator. No, that's not it. That's a terminal emulator. I should have known that from the fucking name. But like there's a version of file browsers where instead of having one thing, you have like or like this. Like imagine moving this over to the middle, kind of. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. But if you use Linux, you know what I'm talking about. That's how I like it. I don't think there's anything you can do about that. I also don't like these colors. Like they're way too bright. And there is a way deep in the settings to change it, which as you can see when I switch to this, I've attempted to do, but it still looks ugly and there's no way to make it look good that I've found. Like I can't do anything cool with it. And that's annoying. Like if I wanted to change everything, it would take me like a whole day and it would still look bad. So all I can really do is change my desktop. And that's how all of these things are going. Like Discord, for example, Discord is a really ugly program. It looks like shit, and I hate it. Right? I hate everything about how it looks. The colors are so boring, and like I hate it. At least it's dark. At least it's not bright. But like it's still bad. But there's nothing you can do about it. There's a program called Better Discord, I think. But it turns out that Discord doesn't like you using that, and you can get your account suspended just for using Better Discord, which all that does is like lets you customize Discord a little more. Yeah, they don't like that. Also, so for example, the reason that Discord Nitro exists, you ever realize like, hey, why do I have to pay for this chat app? I never had to pay for MSN. I never had to pay for IRC. I never had to pay for Skype or whatever, right? How come I have to pay for this chat app? Well, you don't have to, but how come they're pushing you constantly to pay for things? And Discord's answer for that is that it costs them a lot of money to have the chat history logs, to keep the chat history logs. I don't want to keep chat history logs, but I can't turn that off. Do you know why I can't turn that off? Because they want my chat history logs, because that's what they sell to make money, right? Which is why I'm planning to move over to some other thing other than Discord eventually. At least to have some sort of to build some sort of place in the wired away from the corpoverse, as I've taken to call it, away from Meta Meat Space. Take any fucking program. I mean, not GIMP, because GIMP is actually FOSS, but like Logic, for example, there's very little customization you can do. You can actually get pretty deep into customizing, but the worst thing is Firefox, right? Before all this, Firefox used to be very customizable. You used to be able to do all sorts of crazy themes with all I care about is this little box. All I care about is this little box at the top here. That's the only part of Firefox that I ever have to see, and that's the only part I care about. But I can't change it in any way other than incredibly basic ways that you can download. Like, all you can do is basically change the color palette now. You used to be able to change everything about it, and I had very much changed everything about it on my old machine. But now they've fucked it, and you can't do it anymore. They also fucked a bunch of stuff with that update. Like they broke down them all, even though hey, if you're PSA, if you is this even a PSA? I don't know, but if you were annoyed at Down the Mall getting broken and have switched to one of the worst alternatives, guess what? Down the Mall works again now, so you can reinstall Down the Mall and use it again, and it's great. It's one of the best plugins anyone can get for Firefox. But yeah, that's annoying. And that's what makes it alienating. But this is not what my Raspberry Pi looked like when it shipped, right? It looked very different. I just spent a little while messing with it to get it to look as 90s as I could make it. Like in theory, if I don't really like the way this looks, I can change this. I'm not actually sure how I can change this, but I can change this. Um, like I know it's very much possible. Is it in the about section? No. Um, panel settings. No. It's none of these. But I know for a fact that it's possible to change this icon because I accidentally did that setting for something else earlier today. So I know it's possible. Um, do you see what I'm getting at? I'm no longer alien. I don't feel alienated from this technology because I feel like I built this from the ground up. I know what a Raspberry Pi is. I'm not looking at this grey rectangle and magically having buttons appear on it. I'm looking directly at the circuitry of my computer that I bought for £30 or whatever, and I'm editing it to look exactly how I want it to be, as comfy as I want it, right? Do you see what I'm getting at? Despite me knowing nothing about computer science, don't know any programming languages. I tried to learn Python once when I was in school and failed completely, and then at one point convinced myself I was going to learn Haskell, I believe is what it's called. Haskell, yeah, which is a something programming language, and I wanted to learn that because there's a live coding music software which runs with Haskell. So you code in Haskell and it generates music via what you code, which is very cool, and I want to get into it. But Haskell is quite hard for. It's not an easy language even for people who program because it's a it's functional or non-functional. It's one of those. It's different from how a lot of languages are in that it's either functional and most are non-functional. I think it's functional. I'm not sure what that means. It's statically typed as well. I also don't know what that means, but it's a big deal apparently. Um, I don't know what any of this means, but that's the thing that Haskell is. That's why it's special. Uh, so maybe one day I'll learn that, and that does seem like another way to that definitely is a way to de-alienate yourself from technology. A lot of people. This is why fucking 4chan culture misses the point these days. Is that when all those journalists got fired and then everyone was like, "Learn to code, you idiots." Like I get it. It's a funny meme, but also it kind of reinforces my whole point that a lot of programmers see themselves as these like cyberpunks, but really they work for like Google and Amazon and mega corporations and big and shit like that, and then they just do personal projects on the side and they think that makes them a hacker. Like no. Even most pen testers, like you're not a hacker, you're working for a big corporation to defend from hackers, you idiot. Uh and I feel like a lot of people get a little confused by that. They justify it to themselves by thinking, "Hey, I'm gonna destroy them from the inside or whatever." But that's not how it works. My hair is incredibly greasy, um, so I'm not gonna point the camera at myself. But there you go. So that's my problem with the whole learn to code thing. Is it's true. It is a good point. Like well, if you don't want to get fired, you should have some sort of skill, or do you know what I mean? Uh, like you should realize, oh, turns out we live under capitalism where you're not entitled to a job, and you also need a job, so you're fucked, unless you learn a marketable skill, like programming, uh, which is a reasonable point because these journalists are not good people. Uh, However, it also degrades programming as something that exists as a marketable skill rather than as just something that is good to do to de-alienate yourself from technology. Like, uh, it turns it into you should learn to program so you can get a job rather than you should learn to program so that you can do what you want with your computer that you use every day. Uh, which I think is the more legitimate reason or the more healthy reason. Admittedly, it's probably good to learn a new skill like that no matter what you do. And I am speaking from a position of knowing nothing about programming, so maybe I'm completely wrong in everything I've been saying. But it is a like I look at people, like I watch a lot of, even though I can't code myself, I like watching YouTube videos about people who can code stuff and they solve problems with code, and that shit's cool. And I'm like, man, if only I could do something like that. So many times I'm like, oh man, I have this problem. Let me Google if there's a program that'll do this for me. Oh, no one's made that program. Well, I guess I'm just fucked because I can't make it myself. Whereas if I had any sort of skill, I could be like, well, time to sit down and do this, and then put it for everyone to use, and then bam, the entire world is better off. Instead, I'm just sitting here with my dick in my hands. Don't worry, no dicks in hands. Here's my other hand. No dicks, it was a joke. Don't worry, crisis averted. However, even something like a lot of people would look at this and say that's ugly. Like they would look at it as regressive. But maybe some people who are more into internet aesthetic kind of culture would understand what I'm getting at. But I feel like a lot of people would look at it and be like, what the fuck? That looks like it's from the 90s or whatever. Look, you look like you're from the early 2000s. You look like it's a laptop from 2002 running Windows in 2000. Come on, what's wrong with you? They don't understand, clearly. But that's what's great is that there's no way that any Mac computer or something would ship with anything that looks like this, because most people don't like it. But I like it, and so I can do it, right? Even if I don't know anything about programming, which is kind of great. And also, just by using Linux, you end up learning stuff along the way. Like I may not know anything about any programming languages, but I can use the command line. Like I can use Bash, not as like some people are really ridiculously skilled at Bash. I am definitely not, but I can do everything I generally need to do day to day with Bash. Like I can use it, and I didn't know how to use that before I started using Linux. And just simply learning that teaches me a bit about how computers work. Not much, not enough to like pass a computer science course or anything, but more than is necessary to use like an Apple device or a phone or something like that. More than is necessary. And that is helping to combat alienation from technology. And the other thing is that people say a lot of things about alienation, like you're alienated from the technology you use, or you're the main Marxist thing is you're alienated from the products of your labor, which is that's true. But there is a double like another side to alienation that like for example, I know a lot of people probably maybe wouldn't think of it this way, but the whole concept of ego death, or just you know, it even something like the Buddhist philosophy of meditation. It doesn't have to be literal psychedelic ego death or however people think it is, but a lot of Eastern religions, and you know even Western religions to some extent, they just don't talk about it with the same words. They don't really seem to have language for it. I'm not sure why, but they do. It is definitely there. Have this concept of being what is essentially alienated from yourself as like a positive experience. And technology helps you to do that. I'm very against having one internet personality, as I've talked about many times, that it doesn't exist. Even if you try, you can't have one, like identity just doesn't work the same way in the wired as it does in meat space. You don't have one set identity, whether you want to or not. Like in meat, they're trying. The old boy are they trying, but they're not gonna succeed because they don't understand. Well, also because a lot of like these websites, Facebook and whatever, they're not really the wired. They're just meta meat space. They just function as an extension of meat space. Like even though technically they're on the internet, functionally they're just extensions of meat space. So it makes sense that they would combat the whole identity problem as they see it as a problem. But when you get to the actual wired, there is no identity by design. Like there's an IP address or whatever. That's different. Even that you can use a VPN. You know, you can spoof your MAC address. You can do like identity is other unlike real life. Whereas if I talk to you, you instantly know who I am. Like there's with the internet, identity is something that is like anonymity is the default, and then you choose to give an identity to it with some way, right? Now, you know, like the HTTP protocol, for example, is not that great at this. Like you have to, it's okay, like it's fine, but it gives you IP address and shit. It's not privacy minded, but that's not really the point because that's more the identity of the machine you're using. But for example, that doesn't actually matter. For example, like you could post on image board or BBS or whatever. You could post from one computer, and then you can move over to another computer, and it doesn't change you as a person. It just changes the machine you're using. So even that whole IP address type shit is useless uh, for pinning down an identity, and that's a good thing because it means that everyone is in some sense looking at themselves. Everyone is in some sense who chooses to use the internet, even things like Twitter. Facebook, no. I would say Facebook, no. Instagram is a twisted, sick version of this, where instead of having it, where you have your one identity, but your one identity is like a hyper fucked commercialized identity. Um, I don't really use Instagram, so I don't really know though. But that's what I've heard. I don't use Snapchat or anything, so I don't know. I don't know TikTok either. But you know, when TikTok memes first happened, when people started doing ironic TikToks, people were covering their faces, which was sick. And then people started getting famous off of it, and immediately they stopped covering their faces. That is the problem with the internet. This is I sometimes regret not covering my face on this channel. Like I sometimes regret it, but I don't actually think it's that much of a big deal because it like all it does is link YouTube, which is Google, which is already linked. Like they already have my fucking email address and phone number and probably address and credit cards and everything. Like, like that doesn't matter. I'm not gonna be private from Google. That's not happening. And if you think you're gonna be private from Google, then you're already been fucked by them. I'm sorry to tell you. It is sad. I'm not saying that it's not a noble goal to try and cut Google out of your life. It is, and if you can do it, then I have the utmost respect for you. But it's they've made it very very difficult. Um, so you have to be very very dedicated to it. And in my eyes, you know, I would love to be very dedicated to it, but I'm not in a position where I can be right now. You know, I could be. No, I'm lying to myself. It would be possible for me to completely cut Google out of my life, but I've already given them so much information that like even stuff by accident, stuff that I probably don't even know about that I've given them just from whatever deep packet inspections or whatever they're doing. I don't know. I'm just throwing words out there. Like at this point, they have my face, they have all my details. All I would be doing is not giving them any new information, which is, I guess, still good. But you know, you'd have to have been brought up as a child to be completely privacy minded and never post your face on the internet, which is way too late for me. Uh, but 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 it doesn't matter because I've already explained this. Google, YouTube is closer to a meta meat space than it is. Even if we're trying to carve out our section of the Wired here, you know, it's closer to a meta meat space than a Wired. So it doesn't matter because I can go on the Wired, I can go wherever I want, and no one knows it's me. You know, no one knows it's whatever my real name is. I forgot. Uh, Whatever my given name. I should start calling them given names. Wait, isn't given name like your surname or something? Never mind. Dead name. That's that. If I start calling it that, I'll probably get accused of transphobia or something. So not worth it. I don't know what to call your meat space name, but it's not your. you know, people call it a real name, but it's not really. Like, what makes it real? You didn't choose it. Someone else chose it for you. That's stupid. And you can't. It's a big process to change it. Whereas on the Wired, it's one click away. I have done a really bad job of explaining why it's important to be alienated from yourself on the Wired, but just trust me, it is. I can't explain it in this video. I just wanted to show you guys my cute anime wallpaper, and here I fucking am, 45 minutes later, ranting about why identity is not. Oh my god, what's wrong with me? How can one man contain so much autism? How is such a thing possible? All I wanted to do was show off my cute anime wallpaper. And here I am. Oh god. You know, if you want to know what I'm talking about, go watch one of my old videos. I forgot what it's called. It's something I think it might be called Identity in a Post-Meat Space World or something like that. It has a distorted image of Lane as the thumbnail. Let me go find it on my channel so I can tell you what to Google or not Google if you don't want to use Google. You know, Start Page is good. I should start using Start Page. I don't know why, because DuckDuckGo is fucking shit. Like, DuckDuckGo is awful. I used Start Page for a while, and then I think I just updated my browser and it reset to using Google as default, and then I just forgot to go back because it doesn't really make any difference, so I should probably do that right after I stop recording. Sorry, I got off topic there. I'm trying to do something here. Trying to search for a video. Scroll down. Is that it? No. Identity in the post-meat space world. I was right. This video. That somewhat explains it. So if you want to really understand my thoughts on this, you should watch Identity in the Post-Meat Space World. You should watch Moss, and you should watch. Actually, that'll be good. If you watch Identity in a Post-Meat Space World and Moss, you'll somewhat get an idea of what I'm talking about. Or maybe you should watch Schizophilic Rant About Self as well if you really want to know. But Moss is like an hour long, so you're probably going to be bored by then. Anyway, my anime is cool. This is a cute girl, and that's all I have to say.